Did I leave my Pride outfit until less than a week before Pride? Yes, I did. Hey friends, it's your favourite Chaos Goblin, and yes, I have left myself 6 days to get my outfit together for Pride. However, I've got a lot of the supporting bits. The only thing that I need to do is the dress. So most cities have a Pride every year, it's a given. This year, Plymouth Pride did not get the funding that they were hoping for, and so they went, nope, we're not going to have one. And all of the gammons went,
yay, see, go woke, go broke.
And then instead, what has happened is we have our community Pride, and all of these events are taking place at various times at various venues across the city. The gays are going to be out in full force, and I've got an outfit idea together. I did not do an artistic rendition for this one, but what I have, I will get them. So to start with is the dress. And isn't this the cutest little dress? It's got ribbons to tie at the back, make it all nice and cinched here. I do believe we are cotton. Focus on me, please. We are cotton. We have an invisible zip at the back. And we are going to make her so rainbow. We are going to try and get as much vibrancy into this dress as we can. While I was in the haberdashers, they have this for sale, and I believe this is cotton as well. And we are going to use this also tie-dyed to make some sort of trim around the bottom of the skirt. And yep, so we're going to attempt to tie-dye the ribbon as well. And finally, I had realised that we are going to be in July, in the sun, with our very pale Irish skin. And it's going to be hot. I thought to myself, if I get a nice parasol, that way I can shade myself from the sun and I can decorate the parasol up to look fancy. So in my head, I'm buying a parasol that's the same size as like a normal umbrella, so like enough to cover me in my outfit. This is the one that I got. She's so small. Trying to block the sun from myself with this is so small. However, the plan... Ooh, my camera does not like that. The plan is to also... I'm not going to be able to tie-dye it in the same way, but I'm hoping that sort of slopping the dye into just sort of rainbow onto this, and I've got some trim to go around the edge of this as well. 6 days. 6 days. That being said, we are tie-dyeing for the 3rd time in a fortnight, so I think I've got it down. I've got it down. We're going to use the dry technique today, so we can hopefully get the dress super vibrant. 6 days, let's go. I start by putting down the plastic sheet to protect the floor, and securing it with masking tape, I lay out the dress on top and make sure it's all straight and flat. I'd watched this video ahead of time, as this was the sort of plan for how I wanted it to look. So taking a light coloured highlighter, I draw a solid line diagonally from top right to bottom left of the dress, to keep the garment cohesive with the rainbow flowing like a gradient. Even though I planned on using the dry technique, I still give it a spritz of water just for good measure. Then, in no uncertain terms, I scrunch and knead the fabric, making sure to follow the line I'd drawn. The tutorial I'd watched was a simple t-shirt, but this dress had so much fabric in the skirts, so it took a little while to gather them all up and keep the line straight. I also made sure the ribbons at the back were running up and down the garment as well, so that they can emulate the same gradient effect. And finally scrunching the sleeve straps, and the dress brick is ready to be wrapped. I'm using the term brick because the tutorial I watched only did rubber bands vertically and horizontally, meaning once it's ready to dye, it's a solid brick of fabric, rather than the freeform style that my kneecap dress took. And once that's all done, you can see the line that I drew sitting right on top, meaning, in theory, I've done it correctly. Much more haphazardly, I scrunch and rubber band the trim, even though I'm not paying it much mind as I wasn't certain on using it just yet. I give the Parasol a spritz with water and set it down, and I'm all ready to go. The tie-dye kit I've bought came with spare powders, so I empty out the spent dye left over from last time, rinse the bottles out, and add the new powder. Then it's a case of mixing up all the new colours. The orange does not look like it's working at all, so I use a second sachet just to make sure it's extra pigmented. Once all the bottles are mixed, the fun truly begins. I use an upturned metal bowl to rest the garment brick onto and don the rubber gloves. I was going big, I was going extra. The way the stark red clung onto the fabric was insane. I slop a little onto the trim and then move on to the Parasol. The beads of dye were just rolling off, so I switched to pouring some dye into a ramekin and then painting it onto a Parasol with a paintbrush. I didn't want it to be a full rainbow from the centre outwards. I wanted it to match the abstractness of the dress, so I only paint a small patch of red off-centre and move on to the double pigment orange. I'm not going to sing a rainbow, but I can, honest. Here's a chill time-lapse of rainbow goodness. I'll be honest, the trim was such an afterthought, the beads of dye were not setting into it, so I mainly concentrated on the dress and the Parasol. Now one side of the garment brick was done, I flip it over and repeat the gradient on the other side. There was one deep blue shade that I hadn't used yet, and in the absence of a black in this kit, I used it to create a deep contrast of spatters up and down, and I must admit that this was the most satisfying bit. Finishing off the gradient of the Parasol and giving it an obligatory spin, you can already see the vision coming together. I still had loads of dye left over, and it wouldn't keep, so I scoured my wardrobe and found this black and white striped dress. I never wear it because it hurts my eyes, and I thought a deep pink, purple and blue tie-dye would fix it right up. In a horrifying bastardization of the tie-dyeing process, I rushed to get this garment tied and dyed. As you can see, the dye was rolling off again, so I tried to squeeze it into it like a sponge and it seemed to settle in a little. Thoroughly soaking the dress and successfully using up most of the dye, I wrap all 3 dyed bricks in carrier bags and let them sit for 24 hours, and I clean up with my everything towel because I knew she was thirsty for more colour. Okay, so it is day 2. I've still got a couple of hours until I need to rinse out the tie-dye stuff. So, this is where we're at with the Parasol, and while these nice big sections were clearly cotton and it took quite well, the rest of it is just a little pastel-y. Like, look at this. Oh, look at this pink here. Some of it's not even, yeah, that yellow is really not taken. So what I'm going to do is try and leave the majority of these big colourful sections as is, and I'm going to paint the lacy bits just with the paint I use for everything, a mix of acrylic and emulsion. Yeah, this is unrinsed, and I'm just really hoping it doesn't rain on Pride. That would be immensely bad. I do really like how some of these panels have come out though. So it's definitely a good start. It's just going to need a little bit more work. So I think while I'm waiting for the tie-dye to be ready to rinse, I'm going to attempt to paint onto the top. Let's cut to that. I also didn't have any pink paint, so with a blend of white and red, I made the lace look just as vibrant as the panels do. Now is the grand reveal. Starting with a cold water rinse, with my shower head on jet, I bamboozle myself with a parade of colours, and it was truly mesmerising to watch. Once the cold water ran mostly clear, I take off the rubber bands and the final look is revealed to us all. There is no shame in feeling pride for this Pride dress. Damn. Once that runs mostly clear, it's into the washing machine for an hour and then hang to dry. I would not be surprised if they came out and said that today was the hottest day of the year so far. It is roasting. I'm not turning my fan off, not even to film this, so I'm really hoping my audio editing skills can fix that. It's roasting. It's the day before Pride. I was originally a little bit stressed about it, but in all honesty, I'm really happy with where we're at the moment. Oh, it looks so good. Oh, it looks amazing. Since I'm pretty happy with how both the parasol and the dress are looking at the moment, today is just about elevating. And got myself some fabric glue. Oh, spills everywhere. I have some rhinestones, some sequins, and a glitter glue and a fabric paint. So yeah, we're just going to try and elevate what we have. Hopefully some of the glitter, sequins and gemstones are going to catch the light. I've got this trim that I'm going to use, and then I've got these trims that I'm going to be using on the parasol. 24 hours to go. I'm actually not stressed. This should just be fun. So yeah, let's go. I was going to film in my normal work area, however, there was a house spider and he won the battle. So I'm going to work over here and keep an eye out. I tried 3 or 4 times to get the glass over it and, you know, he bested me. So I now have a new housemate. Yay! Starting with my gold glitter fabric glue, I start by painting over the flowers and filigree on the panels. I then decide to outline the panels in it also by doing a wobbly line around the edge of the panels and using a brush to blend it in. An obsession brewing with this fabric paint, I also outlined the bodice of the dress with it in the same way. The gold glitter sheen went over the tie-dye colours like a dream, and I immediately knew I'd feel like the queerest fairy of all, and that not enough of this gold glitter paint existed for my want of using it on everything. Once the bodice was fully covered, I start to add the same to the hem of the skirt, in lieu of the trim, and we'll get into that a bit later. I can't overstate quite how satisfying this was, so here's a close-up look. Realising I was swiftly running out of the fabric paint, and realising I couldn't get any more before the event, I make sure the back of the bodice is just as sparkly, and then I did my best to finish all the way around the hem. I'd neglected to paint the underside of the parasol, so I quickly made sure the pigment was just as vibrant top and bottom. Taking a gold Posca marker, these are honestly the best for so many things. Not sponsored, but hey, Posca, hit me up. Taking a gold Posca, I paint the underside of the flowers and filigree patterns to finish off the underside. And here's how it looks close up. It's already so magical. Taking the final dregs of the gold glitter fabric paint, I give the flowers and filigree on the top side a second coat. And now for the trim. Using the fabric glue, I glue around the inner circle of the parasol and gently press the trim into it, pinning it periodically to keep it secure. I decided not to trust the fabric glue alone, so I do a very messy but functional running stitch all the way around. I wanted to use the same technique for the mini pom-pom trim, however it was way messier and so fiddly, so this was a teeny bit of stress. I was trimming it at the edge of the spokes, but making sure to keep the thread that was connecting all the pom-poms to the trim. I did not have enough of it, so I conceded making a trip to the haberdashery the morning of Pride, and I got on with the gems. Adding fabric glue to some of the lace, I then lay the gems down into it vaguely, getting glue all over my fingers and making a big mess. There wasn't much colour variety, but I did my best to make it a mix. Once the little gem clusters were done, I add fabric glue around the edges of the panels, this time over the lace side, framing the glitter in colour. I then meticulously add sequins in a similar colour to the colour that it's framing, all the way around the edge. I used tweezers for the most part, but the glue was doing its best to be utterly chaotic. I actually lost a couple of sequins on the night, so in future I'd probably use a hot glue gun. But once that was done, it looked incredible. No makeup jump scare, yes I know. I have 5 hours till Pride. How did I manage to do this again? However, I've gone and got another meter of the pom-poms. for the edging, and then I'm gonna go around the hole on top of it because I don't quite like this. So I'm then gonna go around all of it with the rainbow. Then I'm gonna have a shower, do my hair, do my makeup, put the look together, then I've got to go. I've got 5 hours. Let's go! You know the drill. I add the rest of the pom-pom edging around the outside of the parasol with glue and securing it with some pins. I then do a messy running stitch around the whole edge and repeat the process with the rainbow trim. Finishing touches and back in with the gold Posca to do the wooden stick of the parasol and the vines of the filigree. I planned on doing the handle also, but I feel like without a varnish coat it would all smudge off onto everything. Okay, the parasol is done. I have just had a quick shower. I'm going to do my makeup and my hair. Was gonna do a bit more of a full tutorial, but what I think I'm gonna do is just leave you running and just do it. And if the footage is good, it's gonna be in the video. If it's not, it's not. I'm just having a cheese string. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to do a full makeup tutorial here as this video is far long enough. If you do want to see one, leave a rainbow flag and a lipstick emoji down below. So the brief was big, bold, queer, rainbow fairy. I think next year I may have to fashion some wings. After doing my usual base, it was time for colour. I'd previously done this makeup here a few months back and knew instantly I wanted to replicate it for Pride. A rainbow gradient cut crease and big bold pride flags from my eyebrows to my hairline and beyond. You get the idea, so let me time lapse away. This is where we are. You can see the glitter. Mostly done with my makeup, however, I'm gonna curl my hair, get that set, get that sprayed, get that done. Then I'm gonna completely finish my makeup, then I'm gonna get dressed and do all of that shebang. Cutting it very close, but I believe in myself, I've got this. So with the spaghetti styler and sheer willpower, I curl the barnet, pin it into a vague updo, spray it to the highest of heavens, and return to my makeup. Eyeliner, white eyeliner, gems, gems, and more gems. Lashes. Finishing off my lipstick by pressing vibrant eyeshadows into it. Considering I was rushed, considering I was stressed, it was all coming together perfectly. I'm actually not sure I could be happier with how this all turned out. I didn't film a reveal before I left, but here is the ate and left no crumbs video from the day. Boom. Oh my gosh. Is this not the crowning glory? Oh my god. I have never been so happy with I can't say it every time, but let's be honest. Look. I'm not even trying to thumbnail face, but my gosh. This is gorgeous. I got so many compliments just on this alone, and I can see why. I had people saying that I should sell these. Don't give me ideas. I realised a few hours in that there are still sewing pins in it that I left in and took to the event. I didn't notice until halfway through. But oh my gosh, did I have a great time. I had an amazing time. And the dress came out incredible, my makeup came out incredible, my hair looked gorgeous, the parasol looked amazing. Oh my gosh. The only thing was my shoes were uncomfortable and it was very, very warm. But honestly, I couldn't have anticipated this going better. And I'm so in love. It smells like paint. But let's imagine it smells like jasmine and sandalwood. I am so impressed and happy and proud of myself, and I am gushing, and my pride parasol is cunty. I did not get half as much footage as I really should have. I did not get a full reveal. I did not film as much as I wanted to. What happened was I was already cutting it to the mark, and then I had a friend that had a fashion emergency and needed some pliers. So I ended up having to leave early and rush over there and try and help them. So I didn't get enough time to film, but oh my gosh, if that video is not the most amazing. I got this and this stills from the video, but the video itself, if there's a time capsule that anyone's sending into space and they want that, the best video of myself of all time. I'm so happy. Oh, and a bonus clip. Here's a clip of me and my bestie, who once again did a stunning drag performance. Check out the vibrating Venus. We did it. I did it. We did it in a week and it's done, and I've still got so much adrenaline from this that I'm just It's 2 days later. It is 2 days later and I'm still so maybe I should make these. Maybe I should. And yes, I know I stopped mentioning the trim. What happened to the trim and what happened to the other dress that I decided to use up the rest of the dye on? It wasn't all successes, let's say that. The trim is interesting. It's not horrific. It's a little paint watery in some places. Here, where it's like green and brown, and it's I think maybe I could like fill in the gaps, the bits that are still white. I think I could probably fill that in with like a pink or some sort of colour that's gonna liven it up a bit. This one's worse. So much of this like mucky mixy, and I mean this was my own fault. I didn't hold out much hope for it when I started squeezing the dyes onto it and the beads of dye were just rolling off, and then I would pick it up and there would just be a puddle of mixed dye. I think I knew at that point that I was not going to be using this. So I'm not getting rid of it. I'm gonna use it for something else at some point. We just need to figure out a way of making this less mucky. The dress, the stripy dress, it hurts my eyes. I think it's taken a little bit of blue, but apart from that, I think you could see in the washout footage that this wasn't the one. I'm so glad that this one was the one that rinsed fully out and not the other dress, because this was just to use up whatever dye that I had left over. I don't really wear this dress very often as it is because it hurts my eyes. I was hoping that a darker tie-dye might help the contrast be a little less much. But again, we're going to have to figure that one out at another time. I just wanted to give an entire conclusion and say that while some things were great, other things did not go so well. So, we take our positives where we can, and if this is all it was that went wrong, I am so happy with that. And I tried to cut down the makeup section of this video as much as possible. The angles and attention to detail was not ideal. If you do want a full tutorial, I do still have the whole 2.5 hours of footage, so I can re-edit that into a full tutorial if you want. I am so happy. If you like what you see, hit like. If you don't like what you see, what's wrong with you? If you want to stick around for more crazy chaos, hit subscribe, and until next time, I have been Hyperfixacious and I am so fucking proud! One more.